and welcome to this episode of Monday Morning Detective. This is episode 16, and we're going to talk about a case that took place in the last week or two down in San Antonio, where a McDonald's down there called the police regarding a rowdy crowd, loud music. This is a kids' hangout, obviously. So an officer by the name of James Brennan responded and talked with managers, got the complaint. So he stepped outside to confront the kids, the loud noise, telling them to turn down the music. If they're not eating or haven't bought anything, they're loitering, so they need to move on, which is common. Like I said, it's a gathering place. So generally, you try to encourage them to go in and get at least a drink, and then they can hang out. But they need to keep because it's in a neighborhood, they need to keep it relatively quiet. Well, while he was out in the parking lot, the officer noticed a vehicle that he had seen the night before. In fact, he not only saw it, but he pursued it. And the vehicle and the driver got away. So he sees this vehicle in the parking lot with the driver in the driver's seat, and he makes contact. He tells the driver to open the door. Now, the vehicle is running. And we have body cam video of the contact with the driver. The driver was 17-year-old Eric Cantu. And he recognized the officer. He knows why he's being contacted. And of course, the officer knows him. And chances are he's probably known him in other situations. You always seem to run into the same troublemakers, for lack of a better word, over and over again because they are where the trouble is. So he recognizes the vehicle. They recognize each other. The kid opens his car door, and then and we can see that he's eating a McDonald's burger. So he's legally parked in the parking lot, eating a burger. His windows are up, so there is no music coming from his car. So we know he's not in violation of the issue that McDonald's called for. But through statements, we know that the officer recognizes the vehicle. He had chased him the night before. We don't know the circumstances of that pursuit, but we do know that he did not catch him. Now, I'm guilty as charged on this as far as finding someone after the fact and, believing there's some payback involved. We all do it. It's human nature. But it doesn't go to the extent that this does. And in my case, it never went beyond, other than perhaps arresting the person for whatever crime they were committing that night and then charging them with the event from the night before, excessive speed, evasion of police, or whatever the crimes were. But in the end, we know that eventually we're going to get them back. We're going to see them again. So that's what happens here. Now, at the time when Eric was told to open the door, which he did, at the same time, he put the car in drive and sped through the parking lot, doing a U-turn and going past the officer and out the driveway. We see this on video. Now, when he did the U-turn, He endangered no one in the parking lot. There were no pedestrians where they were. The officer was to the side of the vehicle, so he was not in danger of being struck by the vehicle. But more importantly, what you see on his body cam is the officer now has pulled his weapon and the vehicle is speeding past, and you have the well-lit McDonald's restaurant behind the vehicle. And there were people inside. I do not know where the officer shot or what he was aiming at, but I do know the victim was struck a couple of times. And he is, at the time of this initial report, he was considered touch and go in the hospital. I think he's been upgraded since. And the officer was, San Antonio police immediately investigated the officer-involved shooting. Within 24 hours, the officer was terminated from employment. And within 24 hours of his termination, he was arrested and charged with 2 counts of felony assault, aggravated assault with a weapon by a public servant. And he is either currently in custody or put up bond and has been released until trial. So this was a very poor decision on James Brennan. And it was probably driven by the fact that he had a prior contact with him and lost him in a pursuit, and it probably still bothered him. In this case, this kid got away. I don't know the circumstances in which he was able to escape, but whatever he did, it didn't warrant being shot, and certainly didn't warrant being shot on that particular evening when he had done nothing other than the night before. So let's give it to San Antonio Police Department for making the right decision here, acting swiftly. This was nothing, as bad of a PR move as this guy, James Brennan, has caused for his police department. I think they more than made up for it by agreeing with the public that he was unfit for police duties and, in fact, a criminal, having committed a violent crime. So we'll keep in touch with this story and see how it plays out. I suspect there'll be many tens of millions of dollars in a lawsuit and settlement, and probably more than likely a conviction by this officer. And it's sad. It's sad, but it seems to me that he let his emotions get away from him, and he lost control and reacted. So he's going to have a difficult time trying to prove that his life was in danger. Especially, as I stated, with the background of the restaurant. Not only was his life not apparently in danger, but shooting at a moving vehicle with the restaurant behind you is a stupid move altogether. So that'll do it for this episode, number 16, Monday Morning Detective. And if you have any questions or know of any crimes or stories involving questionable police tactics or anything of that nature, or someone a police officer or a police department that did the right thing, as in this one, please let us know. We're on Facebook. You can hit us up with a message there or text me directly. And hope to see you at the next session. Have a good day. Bye now.